Good FYI for your information. I am Jaretta Finance joining you this wonderful Tuesday morning, guys. It's this Tuesday, the 9th of August 2022. Can you believe it? We are so far down in August already. I can't believe it. It seems like only yesterday we began August, but it is what it is. So I have to say it has been quite an interesting day. Yesterday, I'm telling you, so much went on yesterday. Not I a lot of which I wish I did not have to read in the news, if I can say that much. But nevertheless, I have to report on everything that happened. You have been following, I've been following a lot of you on social media. You see a hand coming that shot just now with some coffee. The staff there, so wonderful. The team at FYI trying to make sure that I get some morning tea. So thank you so much, guys. Make sure that you do your part. Share the stream. How are you doing over there? Let me know what is going on at your end. Share. Sharon Alfonso Evans, make sure that you start off the morning right by sharing the stream. Make sure that everyone gets the credible information. And yesterday was packed. You know that we're going to be hammering into every bit of what went on yesterday in the National Assembly when it when it pertains to the $44.7 billion that the previous administration came for after passing the budget of $552.9 billion in February. Right? So we asked you the question. The question started from yesterday. Where is the money going? Where is the money? It's one thing for them to come to National Assembly and say that they want so much money, but then you're not being able to track where the money is going, because guess what? It's definitely not going in your direction, and that is the problem that we are having. Guys, I need you to do your part. Like I just said, share the stream. I see Nigel Polidor there this morning early. Good morning to you, Nigel. How are you? Alana Tang, Region 1 in the house. Alana Tang joining us all the way from Port Kaituma in Region number 1. Folks, if you've never been to Port Kaituma, I encourage you to go take a walk. It's a beautiful place. Very, very peaceful, if I can say that much. I like the peacefulness, the serenity altogether. Region 1, Region 9, the peacefulness, the serenity. Breathtaking, to say the least. Good morning to you, Tessa Isaac Zandy. Hey, Tessa, how are you doing this morning? What is going on at your end? And Candace Narang, good morning to you, Candace. How are you doing? What's going on at your end, your neck of the woods? And good morning to you, Norris King. Hey, Norris, you guys know Norris joins us all the way from Region number 10. Sheridan Amanda's born town, the hometown, the Democratic Republic of Linden, as they so refer to it. Norris is quite an advocate on the ground, always representing the people, years in the game, and I have to say that he has a wealth of knowledge and experience to share with us. So good morning to you, Norris, and thank you so much for coming through. Marlene the Young, how are you, Marlene? What is going on at your end? I see Sharon Alfonso Evans. Sharon, don't play. Sharon said, I share already. Good. Robert King, good morning from Egypt. Robert is joining us from a very far place. Guys, I don't know what is going on with my eyes. It's running water again. I really need to check on that. Patricia Asana, hey Patricia, good morning to you. What is going on at your end? Judith David, good morning to you, Judith. Region 7 in the house, all the drama in Region 7. Judith, you gotta talk. I come in by the shop. Don't worry. Later on in the day, I come around at the shop, Judith. Right there, Mongrel Hill. We good. We got to talk some things. Hey, Emily Durant, how are you this morning? And Edward Gonzalez joining us from the Bronx. I hope Edward is good this morning. Edward, you got some company. I don't know if you've been sharing or not with folks there in the Bronx, but I saw a lot of persons coming on that's joining from the Bronx. Absolutely wonderful of you to join. Alex Boom, good morning to you, Alex. What is going on at your end? Let me know how are you? How is your family? Anything that we can do. I see. Oh, Hilbert Knights. Hilbert Abiva Knights also joining us from Region number 7. And Hilbert is saying basically he's given the endorsement that Port Kaituma is a beautiful place. Port Kaituma, Region number 1. I know Hilbert would have spent some time there in Port Kaituma on work duties, so he had the opportunity to soak in all of that serenity that I'm telling you about. Beautiful place altogether. Kevin Nicholas, good morning to you, Kevin. FYI, Kevin is saying good morning, FYI family. Hey guys, make sure that you share the stream. We're off to a good start this morning. I see Jerry Mingo in the house also. Rowena Cummings, good morning to you guys. Corinne Day and is it Peter Sills? Good morning to each and every one of you. Wesley Ward, good morning to you, Wesley, joining us through our YouTube channel, joining also from Brooklyn, New York, and I see Marlon the Young. Marlon, I'm seeing those emojis. Don't worry. Rudy Hines, good morning to you. Rudy, you say meet that present. All right, Rudy, you see, you got me having to read that close up there. But as you're speaking like a true Guyanese, spoken like a true Guyanese. Facebook user, hope you got your money. Biggest budget pass. Well, guess what? The biggest budget pass was passed in the biggest budget was passed in February earlier in this year with the 552.9 billion. However, you noted yesterday the PPP believed that that wasn't enough money for them. They believed that they needed to go back to the National Assembly because when they went back there yesterday, they asked for $47.7 billion. I know, as Garnish My Paul said, that these budgets, this supplemental financial paper that they brought to the National Assembly yesterday, asking for more money. Ganesh Maipo was the one I think he posted about it, and he was saying that it has to come through a cabinet process. That this is the money that they're going to be requesting and so forth, and they had to trash it out at that level. But they came to National Assembly yesterday. Guess what they did? They came to National Assembly and they stood up and they asked each other questions about that the monies and what they were going to use it for. And as I'm not lying, I can't make this up, guys. Even when they prepped the question themselves for themselves, they still couldn't answer the questions. I don't know how does that happen. How is it that you prep questions for yourself and still can't answer the questions? PvP. PvP is a different bunch of people. I don't know what goes on at their end, but oh my goodness, I tell you, they need some real intervention. Hey, Dawn Cook, joining us from the west side, the best side, as she refers to the west side. You know, that's debatable, Dawn. That's debatable. But wonderful of you to join us this morning. Claudette Bovell, Lewis, good morning to you. How are you this morning? I hope all is great at your end. All of you wonderful people. I see, is it no, I missed that name. I'm so sorry. Guys, share the stream, share. If you know that you're on early, you're not seeing one of the FYI family members on, make sure that you tag them, let them know that we're on, wake them up. I see Claudia says she's joining from London this morning. How wonderful of you to join from London. Lyndon Jones also in the house right now. Lyndon says good morning, people. Yeah, you know, Dawn folks said they're pack of Dawn. So Dawn, when you write questions for yourself and you still don't know the answers, I can say that you may be very right. You know, the evidence may be able to substantiate your claim right about now. Alex Williams, good morning. Good morning to you, Alex. What is Alexis Williams? My goodness. Let me check this eyes this morning. Ayabo Natasha Congreve said shared. Thank you so much, Ayabo. You are doing your part. I said Chevon McCalman. Good morning, FYI. Good morning to you also, Chevon. And I see Royston Walters there also this morning. Guys, you know this is a teamwork in the morning. Every single morning, it is a teamwork. I see Royston joining us there from Flatbush. He says Flatbush is in the house. Oh my goodness. Yes, Ariel Hector says we need to pressure the illegal government. Good. That's what we've been doing. We've been doing it, and I think that the more persons get on board. Let me just say it like that, you know. The more persons get on board and add their voice to the cause, the more impactful it's going to be, because we have to make sure that is not just the MPs out adding to this call, and not just the MPs out putting the pressure, but everyone needs to unite their voices to make sure that we get the results that we're looking for. I see you there, Margaret Nelson. Good morning to you. How are you doing? I see you there. Hope all is great at your end. You know, Dawn says she already shared. Dawn is in tune. Everyone that shared already, Ayabo, Dawn, all you guys, go to the front of the room, move to the front of the class. However is it you say it, that's what we're going to be doing. I see Candace Narayan is tagging Andrew Griffith. Way to go, Candace. You seen Andrew, you tag Andrew. Let Andrew know that he's lit this morning. Right. Make sure that you add all those persons. It's going to be a full house this morning with the FYI family. Full house. You know what I mean. You're going to see pretty soon. I see Beryl Crawford joining us this morning. Is it Saif Ali? Did I say that right? I hope I did. But so thankful for you to join us. And George Barker. George Barker, which one of the Barkers you related to? I see Polly Ann Schultz saying good morning to MP Joretta and the FYI family. Claire Capel. Hey Claire, good morning to you. Wonderful of you to be here this morning so early. You always here, and we appreciate you a whole lot. We appreciate all of you that joins us in the morning. We appreciate the fact that you come back at the midday, and we appreciate the fact that you are still here during the night. You are the reason that these programs are alive, and we have to say that you continue to give us the courage and the strength to push forward. Carol Rollins, yes, Carol. I see you, Carol. So she already shared, so Carol could step to the front of the room also. And Marlon's the young keep asking where Sharon. You know that's why Sharon. I've been trying with him. I don't know. I've been trying with him, but you guys need to talk to him. All right. You guys need to talk to him. You know, Sharon Rocker coming. You know the problem is when he comes in, you guys just say morning Sharon. Y'all just say morning Sharon. Right? Nobody don't be throwing the bell at him and stuff like that. That's not the way in which you say it, right? You're not throwing the bell. I think I'm a little proper with that.
Dash the bell.
Dash the bell.
He said dash the bell.
In the chest.
Dash the bell. Well, guys, I hope all is well at your end. And like I said, it's
Morning, folks. Good morning, folks.
Packed discussion this morning.
Let me know if you hear me loud and clear.
Let's share that you're hearing him loud and clear. His mic is hot at the moment.
Yes, it's hot. It's hot.
So let him know if you're hearing him all there. We're gonna be having a packed discussion, you know. Okay, it says Retine's Dreadful who's making the tea this morning. Believe it or not, believe it or not.
Tea make over 3 times since.
About 3 times right now.
3 times since.
Okay, I see Simone Green online this morning. Good morning to you, Simone. Marie.
Morning, Simone. Morning, Marie.
Hey, Marie. Good morning to you. Keep the pressure from Brooklyn. We will be keeping the pressure up. We have to be bringing clarity to you. And guys, the more I scroll social media, the more I empowered mentally to make sure that I continue doing exactly what I'm doing in terms of sharing the information. Because I've seen people making comments, putting up posts, basically saying what we've been saying every single day. They're asking the same questions, you know, all of this money, where is it going? You know, all the reports. But when it comes to Kaisuko, this is a class all by itself. Kaisuko is on a different level, ladies and gentlemen. We know what that is, you know. People talk about black hole and all of those things. Kaisuko, I think in the dictionary right about now, you may see Kaisuko next to the word black hole. A vivid example of what a black hole is. And that's what's going on here at Kaisuko. Hey, I see, is it Persis Wilson? Persis Wilson is here in Sharon's mic there, you know. And George Barker said the FBI executed a search warrant on the House of Commons.
Yeah, we on it.
Don't worry about that. I hear you there. And you know that what we're going to be talking about. I'm not gonna jump ahead.
Amanda's mic is hot too.
I'm not gonna jump ahead with this one by myself, but I'm telling you, if you never share it in the morning,
right company now.
That you're gonna want to share because it's a pack. It's a
hold your person. Hold
your person. Rock a comment, share it.
We hear a lot of background noise. Apologies.
Clifton Smith, good morning to you. Good morning, Clifton and Stephen Collins. How are you doing? Stephen Collins is watching from Long Island. The Alia World, John coming in, like sharing.
Me want to hear Alia. Me want to hear from Alia. Me want to hear from Alia.
This Alia World, I don't know if you can share, but you can.
Me want to hear from Alia.
Alright, you don't have no issues or anything like that. This is between you and Sherry. I'll leave it all.
Alia got to pay one year dues up front to us to come back. Give me good books. Right? Guys, give us a sec, folks, to reorganize ourselves.
Guys, as we reorganize ourselves here to make sure that all is in check, make sure that you do your part and share the stream. Like I said, don't say I didn't tell you, don't say I didn't warn you, but you're gonna want to share the stream this morning. This morning is not a play morning. The amount of information we have to unpack for you this morning, I think that you are going to be glued to your television screens, to your phone, to your computer, wherever you're looking at us this morning. You're going to be glued.
Jay, what's now?
Where is Sue? That question that's a different question. Where is Sue? So I see a lot of times it's good morning, Amanda. Alana, you're different.
Amanda's mic is hot.
Amanda's mic is hot also.
And it filters into her looks.
Sharon, you sweeten this tea. Did you stir it up?
Folks, you need to put creamer in my coffee. It's just creamer. It's not coffee. It's pure creamer. Pure creamer.
You're drinking creamer this morning?
Yeah, it's just creamer. I think we're going to come back now.
Yes.
Right? Man, are you ready? Tone down some of this bitch in a man. Shucks, tone it down a little bit.
Like
morning,
I said, I promised you full house, and there you have it.
We're so
full
pleased.
house.
We're so pleased to be here. Let's do hearing us loud and clear. Let us know that. Meanwhile, here from Man's with search party, with Alia with search party, so on. Right?
You're not about
when you know your people bad books, you just come and you just observe quietly. You don't try to come and take over. Don't come and try to take over. Right? Yeah. So there's where we are.
A lot happening there.
A lot.
Don't worry, I have the audience waiting for you guys.
Listen, thank you.
Make sure that you acknowledge. Make sure that you go through.
Please and
you
thank
have some
you.
explanations to do.
Yeah.
Everyone is very sure.
We're here. Do you make this thing with some creamer? And it's just creamer. Right? And the coffee fighting to come through. I know because things tight and coffee and little Dunnins, the little at the bottom of the bottle.
Sharon made the tea this morning.
I think that was all the coffee.
Did it just right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the last of the coffee.
Things tight?
Well, see Alex here. That's it.
Tight.
The coffee finished. Time to pull the plug. Time to pull the plug. But good day, folks. Share the live. Where we join from. Of course, it says hi, man. Like I even
Good morning,
Hi, handsome man. I think I take back.
Good morning.
You redeem yourself, unlike Alia Waldron. Or like Beatrice is here too. Beatrice said hi, man. Good morning. Well, clearly I'm here.
Good morning, Jean.
Clearly.
How are you?
Clearly I'm not here.
I think you're in some people's bad books.
Yeah, Jean.
Roses are ready.
Man said, no, she take this. No, you're chewing. Yeah. Maxine's chill. Is this chill?
That's so
STH?
different. I don't know that.
Hold on. I got
We
you.
show me age, Sharon, Lord.
As soon as
We can send you.
This is not my Morris garden.
Yeah. Don't worry, you're slapped again. Morris Gardner. She's like, who? Who grandfather is that? Vima Harris, good to have you. Good to have Jean and Mayborn King and all the other guys here. That's a privilege. Try not to slap, Try not to slap, But after the presentation, some of the presentations just did. Burdensome. Burdensome.
Yeah,
Burdensome.
I was in. I don't know how many persons had the opportunity to look at it because I always encourage people to go and join those live stream and look at what is going on because them themselves, what? Like what? Did I see what? Like what is going on here? But I have to say that even for me, as my duty, I've been sure that I'm listening through, and I had to take a pause. I had to take a break. It's like this is too much of this is too much for me to die. This man actually asked. This woman actually asked this man, "Which role is he doing?"
Yeah.
I said, "Can't say."
Social cohesion be affected.
That was a wow moment for me.
Social cohesion be affected. It was a wow moment for a lot of people. Oh, Lord. He also wheeled into DPI yesterday. He wheeled into Chronicle. He wheeled into what's the other one? NCN. He wheeled into all of them. They incorporate these things properly. Wasting taxpayers' money there. Yeah. Not covering.
Wow.
You didn't touch that too? Kwame think he had in shame, boy. I think he's had in both.
It's amazing they don't allow the opposition any airtime.
At all. And then he went on to talk about the quality of roads, They got one quality.
One quality.
Well, I like it. Whoever vex, engineer vex, ministry staff vex. Who vex? I like it. Sema, pass me the keys for the bema. Who am I? The girls, them sugar. How can I? You just lose again. You see these young ones? You got to leave it. Sema. We just lose it again. Same, I can buy my things I buy. I don't know. Yeah, you can buy me. See me them bus back in Oh, father, apologize to the ones. Yeah, I know we out here in these streets now. Yeah, so we got quite a few things to cover. Trita, take it for us. Whichever direction.
I was saying this morning, I started the
You
program by saying that there's a lot that happened yesterday, not a lot that we wish we had to report on, but it is what it is. We have to put the information forward. And I was starting off with this morning, we started on the morning papers, a whole lot of sad bit of reporting, because we've been talking about the pandemics that have been plaguing in Guyana. We were saying that we had the COVID pandemic and right alongside that in terms of the actual impact that it has on our country thus far. We are speaking about domestic violence and the amount of lives that has been lost in that pandemic. And only yesterday now, we had this young woman, Sydney, is it Ramchadar, actually being stabbed. And the details of the story is that this is she was married, I believe, just about a year or so ago, and then they were having some difficulties, and she left. And she was on her way heading to a relative on a scooter when her husband actually attacked her and stabbed her, and she died. You know. And I was looking at her photo. It's just the image is stuck in my mind. She looks so young. You know.
22. You didn't start living yet.
So young.
You know, you're like Naomi and Alia. You didn't start living your life yet.
Right.
But this is the scourge we've been talking about. Is the other pandemic. This kind of abuse and violence in relationships is the other pandemic that we aren't taking seriously. And I'm quite surprised to see some of the sentences that they get in the court system. I'm quite surprised, because we need to send a very strong message that this kind of thing is not going to be tolerated. You can take a man life and get 6 years and come out and go about your business.
Yeah, and I think it underscores the need for mental health initiatives. A lot of domestic violence is directly tied to mental health issues, whether it be from childhood trauma. This is not excusing it, but it is attempting to understand what spurns interpersonal violence. And I continue to say that this government, for all the money that they have not spent adequate time crafting mental health interventions to be able to help people to get effective counseling. A lot of people suffer from personality disorders and they're on that spectrum, but they often go undiagnosed because we just do not have the resources, whether it be personal, the clinical resources to diagnose it. So, it really is something that we have to tackle in a holistic manner. Sentencing is one thing, but how do you deal with the restorative aspect of it? So,
and this fella hated her. 22, I don't know how she spurned him or why, but from the way he killed her. I saw one account, I think it was in Starbucks News, that said he first rammed the car into her, and then whatever else transpired after that. You can love somebody and do that to them.
Well, it probably stems from the fact that he doesn't even love himself. And if you can't do that, then you're not capable of really expressing love to anybody else. So.
But it goes to another bit also, because there was we're picking up the reports out of several, because I think there were like 2 or 3 different ages I see being reported in different media for also. But one of the things that I did note also is that they said there was an incident with the 2 of them prior, that he attacked her with a knife, and she had to fight him off, and she had.
But clearly, this is not the first incident. Clearly, don't just wake up one morning and
and do that.
Clearly,
But we need to have stronger systems in place to protect women.
Definitely.
But we need to make sure that we push in the right direction.
Drita, it has to come beyond International Women's Day and the day you do with elimination of violence against women. You got to come beyond those days. They don't spread beyond it. You got all of these lovely messages and so on, but don't go beyond that. One of the things we can be talking about this morning, for instance, is International Day of the Indigenous People. And you'll see lots of flowery words today in the press by the government, lots of flowery words, but ain't going beyond today. Right? We still got Chinese landing to deal with. We still got the Eastern Road issue to deal with. They ain't going beyond that.
Well,
right?
well, first of all, I can say
it got to go beyond. I want to digress. I'm just making the point. I want to stay on the issue of this. What's happening to women in our society? We got to move beyond just platitudes and the international occasions.
We need an entire, in my view, ministry dedicated to women and gender affairs. We are at the point now where we can afford a lot of institutional development. Whether you have money is not the question. It is what they're doing with it. And these things like women and gender affairs, you should have an entire, I know there's some commissions, but that is not enough because the work to be done is so much. And just to say, we don't have 1 million people here.
But Amanda and Rita, you know what the challenge is going to be? And what the challenge is? Some of the very folks in high office will be indicted. Because I have seen some of their spouses make some comments on social media about them.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. I mean,
you see them boys in jacket and tie. I see one spouse there. You know, I didn't here protecting myself from COVID. And look this one here. You know, you could tell what happened in their own homes. You know, so why would they want to push ahead and do something like this that benefit? No. They were going to be indicted. This spouse and watch them and laughing them and say, look what you're doing for people outside. And here you can't even provide for your own family.
But again, it comes back to absolutely placing emphasis on there are a lot of dysfunctional people in our society. High functioning, dysfunctional people too. And so they have a veneer of propriety, but really a lot of them are fighting depression. There's a lot happening. And I'm afraid that this government is not doing much to help to address and to alleviate people's anxiety.
That's part of the challenge. You know? Part of the challenge that we have. Freedom. You know, got to deal with this one, though.
Yeah, it's very sick, and we have to do a lot of work in that direction. And I have to say, you know, when it comes to, if I'm to add one more bit of comment to that case, is the fact that we're supposed to be having an actual hotline dedicated to women and so on. And I think we need more reports coming out on that, because what's the point of having all headlines about these things being launched and then there's no follow-up and the system just fails and crashes?
Because you take off a box. You take off a box that you've done X, but besides that, there's nothing else. Besides that, there's nothing else.
So there's no monitoring and evaluation.
Aye. You know, and again, it is just restricted to an international day, right? You take off a box, we'd be doing something, but when the real benchmarks are being looked at, right? That's the challenge. You're not hearing a consistent message, whether it's a PR message, it's a what, and it goes across the board. Look what's happening with traffic in our country, right? You don't see nothing with traffic management coming across your smartphone, your this, your that, you know, they aren't going it after in any meaningful way. Stay safe, slow down, drive. You know, I run into some ads constantly, whether on social media, especially on social media, right? Whoever does the advertising for instance, newsroom, you know, they ads, thanks to Google ads, show up on our web pages, me and mine, because you know, it is what it is. You make money when the ads show up and whatever the case might be. Right? But going after this, no, they're trying to pull people from our pages that they're on, they're smart, you know. But the point is, the government could be doing the same thing. You know, in terms of your PSAs and so on. In a meaningful, that's what you do. You gotta educate. Right? You gotta educate, you gotta let people know this kind of behavior will not be tolerated. Violence against women. What's happening on our roadways? It's various pandemics. We did 7 plagues in this country. That's what we're dealing with, right? But you got to go after it. You got to give good leadership to it, and in very innovative ways to suit the country we're living in.
But there are lessons that we can learn from other countries. We don't
Definitely.
Yeah, and but just a bit of update on this bit. I know that the suspect or husband now, his name is, let me just pick that up right now, Suraj Ganpat. He is on the run, as the latest reporting that we are made aware of. So if anyone out there actually knows of his whereabouts, report him to the nearest police station. But as we move forward from one sad story to the next, you know, we have to be reporting that the Hog Island farmer that was reported missing. You know, his relatives were also looking for him for a bit, and as you know, it has been reported that his body was found, but then the horrific details that comes with it.
This is
another level.
This is Romeo Prasad, and Romeo was a colleague of ours in the Alliance for Change, believe it or not. Believe it or not. And so we are very saddened as a political party by not only his departure, but the manner of his departure. I was listening to one of the newscasts as we were coming in that said his hands were tied, his feet were tied, his mouth was taped, he had a black bag over his head. Something went wrong in a major way, and his family calling for justice, like so many of the families in this country. But who knows where that is going? You'll hear some platitudes, stone unturned, all those usual stuff, and then one of those cases, we hope justice is served.
Yes, our thoughts and prayers are with his family and his loved ones.
Yeah,
quite tragic.
Yeah, very.
And from
sad.
what I hear, a very vibrant, person, very easygoing and so on. So,
very, very sad. I don't know how you as a human being, how do you get to that point that you can take someone's life?
That's the challenge that we have.
Yeah, guys, we have to continue to tell you that we are in a country, Guyana. It has less than 1 million people, and we continue to lose lives in the most tragic ways. When it comes to young women and being brutally murdered, that's one pandemic that we're talking about. And when it comes to actual murders outside of the domestic violence bracket, that's something all by itself. Only recently we had so many cases of persons drinking and fighting, and because of that resulted in somebody's death. It's really crazy.
And then when you consider the rates of suicide as well, we are in a dilemma, and the government has to do more to really address these issues and place a premium on mental health. So our thoughts and prayers are with the families of the victims, and we will continue to ask that we just be temperate and treat people with kindness. Everybody is facing a struggle, Joretta. Some struggle or the other.
That's the truth. That is the truth. And I have to say, when I was reading this story, it brought up some really horrifying memories to me, because even coming from Bartica, we back in the days, prior to 2015, we had some pretty gruesome stories that happened.
Right. They had the massacre. There
was one particular story where a young man was actually taken off of a boat by some, I'm not really going to say which, not even going to mention the organization, but by persons that worked. They worked in the capacity as law enforcement professionals.
Wow.
And when he went missing and so forth, however the investigation panned out, they actually somebody actually spoke out and said that he was murdered, and they actually anchored his body at the bottom of the river. When I was reading this particular story, it brought back those horrific memories to my mind, because we need to do so much better.
We have to.
As a country,
we absolutely have to.
We can't continue to lose lives.
Lots of things to do. That's the challenge that we have.
I know Judah David and so is online right now. Judah knows exactly this particular story that I'm speaking about, and that's why a lot of this is actually went to actually having persons not wanting to be on the water top after
a certain time,
and certain once the place was getting darker, and so because the amount of things were happening, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yep. We play with lives in this country, and we gotta do more. The policy level and all other stakeholder levels in this country, we gotta do more.
Right.
Go ahead, Judah.
Yeah, Sharon, I'm going to allow you to go. Christopher Miss.
Yeah. Is it Rystad?
Yes.
Energy. Yeah. Well, they came in and they were talking about how the gas shore project is so wonderful and it's going to do good for this country.
You're
Continue to go forward.
Tell you warming up, eh?
Right,
They're
doing nice and so on. Go down the road and so
That's
forth.
How I started my last department. I want to continue like that.
Christopher Ram says that Rystad Energy is another example of how foreign entities seek to exploit the domestic market. You know, they get these what do you call it? You know, they can come in and give you what you want. You know, tell you what you want here. You know, tell the people they want here. You know, and it brought back to mind a publication called Global Witness. Sorry, Global Wickedness. They had published a scathing piece of writing, a scathing piece of publication.
Guys, you remember?
You know, saying that the ACNO FC wasn't doing well by the oil and gas industry. We didn't know what we were doing. You know, and once the election was won, they came back and said, you know what, we pulled back this thing here.
Yes. But it was so incredible, the timing of that publication.
You know, because the PVP took that and ran with it and said, see, what is international publication, Global Wickedness said, right? But the oil and gas sector, they must know because they're the business long. You see? But when we could pay for it again, this one, you know,
and then pull it back.
Right? If you want a fake degree or a degree that says you went to Harvard, you can get on the internet. You know, anything. If you got the money, you can buy anything. Right? So when we read this, we remember Global Wickedness. And Christopher Ram and them are saying, you know, again, we like to quote independent people because when Manzer, Twitter, I say it, y'all say, it's just them wise, man. Right? But Tech Rama y'all chest this morning, he said the Rystad Energy is just another example of how foreign entities seek to exploit domestic markets. So y'all coming out and y'all give a nice review. Right? Same people who we got say this thing here is problems. Right? Same way we say the local content is problems. Put it in a select committee. Let me study the thing more. Right? Beyond just wanting to take off, you know, local content. Take natural resource fund. Take both were passed the same evening. The natural resource fund bill and the local content bill. Same evening. We said hold on. Let me study this thing a little more. You know, right thinking people told us that. Stakeholders told us that. We need to work on these things some more. Now them boys, and now to hear Timmy Tucker, for instance, from the GCCI, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, balling with local content and we not getting a piece of the pie. You know, but the same people didn't say nothing. And January was December, they come holy guns and tongues.
This continues to be the problem that we have. You know, when we objected to the NRF, as you said, we were hooligans and thugs, but now you're seeing exactly how they are simply raping the consolidated fund. The other issue about local content, I don't think that we have explained enough to the population just how important local content is.
I think the biggest issue, but the biggest issue, Manza, is not defining clearly and not having proper parameters that defines local. What is local?
You see, the problem is, I think they left enough space because they know they want to hatch a match with some people elsewhere. But now when some other people now start filtering in, that they can't control.
Yes, you want to hedge it. You see, because unfortunately, there is nothing that this government does that is not geared towards benefiting their friends and family. And the earlier people understand and appreciate that, is the better off we are going to be. Your local content is the way in which your local people will be able to participate in the oil and gas economy. So and then when you look at the number of years, oil is not a renewable resource. So it has a defined number of years. It therefore means that whatever local content strategy you devise has to take into contemplation just how many years of oil you got remaining.
Them boys don't care about that.
So, but you know,
they don't care about things through.
So, you know, the folks who watch these issues and probably know better than us, you know, that's us. we're gonna church. It's we're gonna be on the air here.
We're gonna ignore them.
So we're gonna ignore them. You know, the people who watch these issues and study them, they know that this is madness here, right? And they're flagging this and said, "Y'all watch this Rystad folks because they're gonna have to come back and they can be like Global Wickedness. They come back and they got pulled back on this stuff here. This is to appease the people because every right-thinking person have said that this thing here needs to be shelved. You understand me? Because it has gone up. When we did the study, it was about $400 million US. It got up probably past $1 billion US to do the gas to shore, right? But privatize it. Let private people come in and get it done. Let private people come in and get the thing done, right? If it's nicer, what have you, right? Let the private people come and do what they gotta do. But you know what? I heard David Granger said something, maybe it was ahead of his time. And I see these folks, the hypocrites they are, now come back at the mouth of the same thing, you know. You know what people are asking for now? Jobs. And just yesterday, I heard one of their ministers, but it was in there talking to one of their folks on NCN. And he made a comment. He said, government is not in the business of creating jobs. It's for the private sector. I said, well, what story is this here now? As the second one of them in the last week. I think it was Edger was the other person. Government don't create jobs. They provide an enabling environment for the private sector. When Granger said it, oh God, and them the people who promise jobs to people and so on. Such hypocrites.
And this is, look, and
such hypocrites.
What you see emerging every day is really why we are where we are as a nation. We cannot get away from the fact that politicians behave in the manner that they are allowed to behave with because people allow it. Mm-hmm. And if we call them out on their hypocrisy, you would see how very quickly they would gather themselves together. But because some of us are complicit in the hypocrisy, I often listen to they talk about the oil contract, for example. Oh, APNU got 2% or whatever, but they don't go back to the history. Yeah. To say that it was it Janet Jagan that signed an agreement for 1%.
Yeah.
Right? That is acceptable.
We did 100% better.
Right? So you now come, and that is not to say that it is the best on earth.
Yeah.
But it is how they conveniently ignore.
Precisely. And the man you could add to that, because your boy, well, I shouldn't say your boy, lateral boy, who campaigned that we didn't know what we were doing. Jan Jagan didn't know what she doing. We are the deal makers like Trump. You understand? We can come, we can fix it.
Oh, that boy went to the US and said that.
And then he say no.
No need.
You know, we do it bad. Right? But we can't change it now.
But campaign on the promise
we can change
that they would change it.
Yes.
And this is where you see when, for example, we hear attempt to deal with the serious issues, it seems to go beyond some people's capacity to really sit down and objectively analyze.
We're not bad. We can't do anything about it. Oh, shut your mouth.
The computer technician say companies need certainty.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes. Yeah, we're not bad, but we can't change it. You know that thing they can't change?
There's no urgency to renegotiate.
2 years later, not a sugar estate and open back. Say, but is what Rosa coming soon? Coming soon. The hiring people? You sure?
And
they got 600
working like crazy.
600 they got working there, but no, them producing nothing. And it didn't open.
692, that's what
600. But it open, paid every day.
They said they re-employed 692, but they're not open.
They're not open. Coming soon, we open it soon. You know, this place here. But what else do we have, Twitter? Let's say it's none. Let's say it's enough for the sake of the folks. You know. So we talked about global witness. We saw the hemp bill passed yesterday. So hemp is now decriminalized, but it remains illegal. They're saying to cultivate, you got to get permission to cultivate.
But that's where the skullduggery is.
But beyond. Before we get to hemp,
I'm gonna have a lot.
Before we get to hemp, hold on. Hold on.
I'm upset about. Let me just say I'm upset about you.
We gotta have a whole program on hemp because let's carry on. Because the point I want to make here before we get to the hemp proper is the fact that we see a lot of young men languishing in prison for small amounts of marijuana.
But that's my point.
And we brought that legislation, and these hypocrites, they want to be great. They snatch it from us, pass their own legislation, and park it in a select committee where everything goes to die in the National Assembly. Select committee. Where they should have put the National Resource Fund for further studies, and they should have put the local content policy. Right? We hear nothing back yet. But the ganja bill, right, to free up the weed, the science has overtaken us on that. But them boys move past but the help is the thing they're pushing quick. And you can tell me why.
No, well, and make no mistake, I hold no apologies.
Me hold none either.
about what I'm going to say, because I told you, and then Shert started it off on the correct note when it comes to the marijuana bill and the fact that that is just in a select committee, nothing being done there.
Cobweb.
And you see that pushing that push forward with him.
Cobweb.
And make no mistake, people, sometimes I want you to wake up, wake up, wash your face, clean your eyes. You have to see quite clearly what is going on in the country. And I always say, because of finance as my thing, and I always say that you have to realize that everything is about money and where the money is being directed. And make no mistake, what you're seeing happening right now is that a certain set of people will continue to be jailed for smoking one joint of marijuana, when another set of people will be paid to cultivate marijuana, cousin. And what you will also see is that the people, a certain set of people alone, will be given license to cultivate marijuana, cousin, hemp, because that's the way in which it's reported on so many different levels. It's not me just saying that, right? This is about economic empowerment. It's about money, and as a people, we need to refuse to see young men languishing, being thrown behind bars because they're smoking.
You don't want
a
to see
joint,
that. You don't want to see that.
You cannot accept that.
Some people have
when
the
on the other end of that spectrum, persons are being paid now,
Yep.
will be paid now to cultivate hemp. And let us not forget the fact that they wanted to start this, and I hold no apologies for the direction I'm taking with this, because this is how I've been seeing it from day one. And I'm going to continue to say they're only intended to look at the cultivation in Region 6. It is after persons push back, they decided to explore some options in other regions. You understand?
Yeah.
And that isn't giving any guarantee that they're going to actually give license out to persons in other regions, in other areas, in other communities of a they're not. When it comes to economic empowerment, they continue to stifle at every single level.
Yeah.
And that whole speech that you heard here from Ali gave about who's a technical expert and he's going to meet with the cultivators of marijuana, BS.
Yeah. Still waiting.
Absolute nonsense.
Coming soon, like the opening of Rosal Estate. Coming soon.
So we have to see it for what it is. They have made a decision that they are going to continue to jail a certain set of people when they are going to financially empower the other set.
Correct, is right.
So one of the other key observations to really indicate just how exactly this bill is not designed to benefit small scale farmers is if you go and you research the cost of a hemp seed. If you're going to produce quality hemp that is marketable, one hemp seed, depending on the variety, is between $2 to $5 one hemp seed. To cultivate 1 acre of hemp, you require at least between 2,000 to 3,000 seeds with small scale farmers.
Yeah. So
we have the capacity.
Has that capacity?
Do we have the capacity to monitor whether it's hemp or the other thing?
No, well, it just depends on
but even
on
if
what they're.
it won't be the small scale.
Let's just say that everything
still be the
is
small
legit.
scale. Yeah.
So when Barjagdeo was going around to communities to tell farmers that this is an opportunity for them to plant, where is the government going to be seeding the money for them to buy the seeds? Because if you are paying between $2.50 to $5 for a hemp seed, and depending on the variety that you want to cultivate, where are finding that money from?
Yeah.
And then you know what? What you will see happening is that one of their cronies, they have the monopoly on importing hemp seeds.
That's what
are you going to see?
But not that. That is not the only thing you're going to do. Watch down the line. I see it coming because, guys, we live in Guyana. We live in Guyana currently as under the PUB administration, in which corruption is their motto. That is their real motto. We are corrupt. That's their real motto. Right? So that is how they operate. And the thing is about it, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to say what things that we can look forward to seeing, because these bills, the fact that they went to National Assembly, they're doing all that they're doing right about now. You know what it takes to actually monitor certain industries. Let's move from there. We want the country to be progressive, but it can't be progressive to just benefit a certain set of people. That's our problem. That's our big issue altogether.
That is the trouble, and that provision that allows the minister to decide which areas will be designated for hemp cultivation will open the door to partisanship.
So we have to push forward.
I have to say, I just have to give an example, because I did mention before, and this is why we're talking about these things, because they're all one the same. I did say before that when they remove the import tax, or to some extent for persons to bring in drones to actually work in agriculture and so forth, then they told the persons that it is classified similar to that of a helicopter, so now they have to get permission. Only a certain set of people getting permission to fly the drone that they imported to work in agriculture. So we know what we're saying. This is the way in which the people operate, but this is a different story. Let's see.
Yeah.
All right.
We can keep on that. But following international things and what's brewing internationally, Donald Trump had Mar-a-Lago estate was raided quite recently. Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate by the FBI. I love this. When Uncle Sam's coming for you, president. Where's the president? Right? You ride roughshod of the law, them boys coming for you. We said a little 2x4 country. Right? And a man wrap up in immunity saying you can't investigate, you can't carry to court. A little 2x4. Trump, a former president of the US, had one of his estates raided by the FBI because they said he had presidential materials that he should not have taken from the White House at this estate here. So Uncle Sam said, we go in.
We have a law book situation here.
We go in.
Remember?
Right?
We got
and they stood down. Of course, Trump will like it. Right? I saw one of our viewers raise this issue. When Trump he come in. Right? And if they could investigate the own president, who is we here? Right? Talking about drones, everybody must have got some drones, 200 miles up listening to me every night.
Yep.
Listening to them, but you think they know what's happening? They take cue from what they did with the BVI folks.
Yeah.
Well, you just have to look at the thing in totality. It's very interesting that the FBI would be down here to reiterate their interest in cooperating as it relates to
trafficking
smugglers and trafficking and money laundering and so on. At the same time, people are being read the riot act in the US.
Washington.
So there are no coincidences in these things. It's
especially
all
in politics.
very nicely orchestrated.
Yep.
So, with a hint of anyway, my question, but take notice.
Yeah. So take notice. Take notice. Other things we're following closer in the region, for instance, I see Ralph Gonzalez. Like, he find that he is so out of touch, and he's yesteryear's politician. He's doing all kinds of things to be noticed. There's a mime in which you say, nobody, and then you see somebody say something.
Yeah.
That's he. Yeah. Every little thing. Ukraine got something, he writing to Putin. Do not invade Ukraine. Something. Nobody call his name, Right? Nobody call his name. Every little thing, like he's fighting for relevance. Right? This is a man. This is a man that just accused his opposition leader of being power hungry. Right? Power hungry. Right? But I in power for 21 years. He's prime minister for 21 years. He's so out of touch. Rather than that, he got to Taiwan. Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan. Now he wanted international headlines like Nancy Pelosi. Right? The Chinese asking, who is he now? He's so out of touch. He's good,
You saw this on NCN or BBC?
Good. Me even
Which news outlet?
He's a good. I'm just fighting for headlines.
Who went there?
Fighting for headlines. So much for that, man. Other things happening in the region. Haiti. CARICOM got a lot to answer for Haiti. A lot to answer for Haiti. I saw the second installment of Sir Ron Saunders' column asking if we've come to the limits with CARICOM. It's something to consider.
Yep.
Right? Haiti's we own is a member state. and it's like a rogue state. You know, they had the president murdered, assassinated about a year ago.
Yes. His wife
Jovenel
seriously injured.
Moise, as a man says, his wife seriously injured. We didn't get around to the bottom of that yet, you know. Right? That happened on CARICOM soil. Right? What happened to me and you, the ordinary people, if something should happen to us? CARICOM got a lot to answer for with this story here. You know, David Rudder has a song, he said, Haiti, I'm sorry. We misunderstood you. We got a lot to answer for when it concerns Haiti. You know, and it just keeps getting worse there. We see this senator now. Past senator being murdered.
And look at the attitude here.
You know,
one government decides, you know what? We are going to, in keeping with the Treaty of Chaguaramas, grant visa-free travel to Haiti. The PPP comes in and they do away with that.
Yeah.
Haiti was the first country in the Western Hemisphere to become an independent nation before the United States.
Yeah.
Right?
Amanda, let me tell you something. You see this thing with black people and Indian people and other people? Like, I am not so much for it. And seeing the world through those lenses. But with the PPP, oh God, like they're dragging me. Kicking and screaming to see the world like that.
They force you to have that worldview because that is really
Lord
what
have mercy.
characterizes everything that they do.
And you'll see something coming out in the budget stuff we can look at.
Well,
too.
I mean, if the bishop could say,
if
the bishop could say that naming the streets will lead
to social
disharmony and disrupt social cohesion.
Yes.
I mean,
we coming down there, don't go down there.
Oh my
Don't have a fresh cup of coffee. Serving us somebody.
You need more coffee.
When it comes to CARICOM and Haiti, you know, one of the things I like to remind people is the population of the CARICOM countries altogether, and then the population of Haiti.
The biggest CARICOM member state by population is Haiti.
You put everybody together there. They're still just about equal with Haiti.
Actually, they're less because Haiti is already 11
but you know
11 million in it.
You know what?
It's over 11 million, and the CARICOM, I believe CARICOM MC put together in touch 20 million.
Our own experience here teaches that not to write off people, you know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they believe they didn't need Guyana. I remember when Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the Prime Minister, had said that she country is not the purse for the Caribbean. Everybody want borrow money and so on. I remember that. A lot of people that want to treat anyhow. I'm saying don't treat Haiti anyhow, you know. We feel we don't need Haiti until they stumble on something and realize that we need them. But really and truly,
realize that
don't write them off. CARICOM will answer for
Haiti.
Haiti.
Realize, and that's why I spoke about the numbers and the population of Haiti, is that to empower over 11 million people, there are some powerful people that may see that as a threat to everything else.
Absolutely,
right?
It's formidable.
To empower over 11 million people, I'm just saying that's the only way in which I can see it. You know, I don't get into the international affairs aspect of it, but when I look at those numbers in terms of the population of CARICOM and the population of Haiti, it spells a very clear picture as to why persons may very well have direct effort into not empowering and not defending the rights of the people of Haiti.
But imagine
it is sickening.
Imagine though, if as a unit, CARICOM were to harness the energy of just 11 million people into this Caribbean community. I mean, this community as a block will be almost unstoppable.
If you got a little population, for instance, like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you might think you're irrelevant if you got them kind of, you know. The president of Haiti could become a very powerful, influential person. It's the largest democracy in CARICOM.
That's why a lot of times you see a lot of outside forces that have their play to make sure that the people on the ground is not unified, and I know and see things in one accord and all of that because it benefits them, because they do not want countries like that, with populations like that, to be united.
Again, we got a lot of answer for, but closer to home now. Oh, my goodness. Boy.
Boy.
They're telling us that you know, one of the contracts that was signed under the APNU AFC, one of the loans we took from the IDB, was to create depletion policy guidelines. As you were talking earlier, Manza, that looks and see how far out, much oil we got.
Yep.
what time frame you're gonna need to take out this oil, you know, what systems you're gonna need to put in place. Coalition did that, but we never do nothing. Some of y'all is hypocrites, right? Them boys came in and met this, right? And I want to say kudos for Culture News for staying on these issues, staying on them with oil and gas. They're telling us, them boys moved out the way. Moved out the way. They ain't got time with that, you know why? Right? They want to do it in their own way. We don't like studies. We like guidelines. We like regulations. Who broke more their own COVID regulations than anybody else in this world? It's them boys. Right? Boris Johnson is no longer prime minister or leaving the prime ministership, the premiership, because of breaking COVID-19 rules. Them boys, they empowered. Right? The man always says, what are you going to do about it? We don't hold him accountable enough. You and I, right? A whole prime minister. That's how functioning democracies operate. Not we here. Right? We must see one step up from Haiti.
What are they putting in place?
Nothing. Nothing at all. The reporting is telling us that we took a 11.6 million loan from the Inter-American Development Bank to support development of the oil and gas sector using this framework, right? And we were supposed to, let me see what it went to do. I want to get the wording right. It was necessary tool in the governance framework of inexperienced oil producers with significant oil and gas resource. That's how we used to do this depletion policy, right? But the PAP, they ain't got time with that, right? And that is why we are where we are. So them boys gonna do it however they want to do it, because remember, they're brighter than anybody else.
And this is why we have moved from
that there's limited resources, limited
that is
it's
what
a
I'm tying it back
limited
to.
resource.
Right?
And it comes back to the fact as to why now our institutional arrangements for oil and gas, the rating has moved from moderately satisfactory by the World Bank to moderately unsatisfactory. You see, these are the deeper foundational issues that will cause this house to collapse. All of this cash grant and so on that they're going around doing and so on is simply curtains on a house. These issues of how we manage oil and gas, how we manage the economy, are the foundational issues. And we know, and a child could tell you, that if the foundation for your house is not good, it's going to collapse. It don't matter how fancy your draperies, your drapes are. And this is what we keep talking about. But what will happen is that unless the people of Guyana get up, vote the PPP out of office, and have proper and sound governance return, we are going to have problems. Governance generally is not always about flamboyance. It's about getting down to doing the serious foundational work.
It's not fancy gallop.
It's not fancy gallop. Things like taking you off of the blacklist for money laundering. Things like curbing your drug trade.
That's
so
serious, methodical work.
Things like strengthening your institutions so that democratic institutions work. That is what governance looks like. And it's hard work. It's work that is not often immediately visible.
You know, as a man just says that,
it's intangible.
I remember
there you go.
When your boy came back from Washington, he went on this tirade talking about his detractors and naysayers and so on. You know, he'd be in his head and he'd paying us rent. And he said, you know, we don't know about working hard. He's waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm thinking, you wake up late. Hello? You get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock in the morning.
You wake up late.
5 o'clock in the morning. The farmers, 5 o'clock in the... Listen, let me just pause and do an aside here. 4 o'clock in the morning, this is required reading in your WhatsApp from Sherry Duncan. Like you do in the ring. Right? 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you reach home, and 3 o'clock, Sherrod is sending you, this is required reading.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
I used to wake up at 5 in the morning.
I don't know what you do. But at 5 in the morning, them farmers are already in the background.
5 in the morning. Another startling thing he said. You know, some people up since 3. You know, 2 o'clock in the morning, you up, you went to bed for 2 hours, and you're at it.
The security guards now about to pack up to go home.
Right?
They reach over here.
You wake up 5 in the morning, you get up late, chief. Get up late. Another startling admission, he said, as he talked about running the whole country, when I'm overseas, my staff know not to distract with anything happening back home. Really?
What?
Really?
What?
I'm totally focused. Really? He was probably only focused on one thing at a time.
Well,
in this world?
Well, he was so distracted that they forgot to appoint Mark
Yeah,
as
so
the
focused.
president acting.
So focused.
I mean,
They know not to distract me. Really? You don't get briefings? What happened?
When in this
Back home?
country
My
does
Lord.
that,
but
did that ever
but
happen
Sherrod,
before?
Sherrod,
I
if
listened to this
that
fella.
is not an indictment on the PPAC.
That's why Jagdus took over when he got.
The country was left leaderless.
How
Yeah.
do you leave and not swear in the prime minister?
Yeah,
And then when you bring it up
yeah.
on your program, they rush to do it and backdate the letter of appointment.
Mhm.
If that is not
Yeah.
an indication of people who
Oh,
have
boy.
no idea
I bet you hot in.
on how to govern a country,
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know what
Yeah.
is. So you leave the country rudderless,
Mhm.
leaderless,
Don't
because
call
Mark
me.
Phillips don't have an instrument to say,
Well, I said,
I
not
am
to call
leaving
him.
the people in your
Yeah,
charge.
don't call
I
me.
mean,
Don't call me.
mind-blowing.
I don't read reports when I'm overseas. I say, wow.
And he says it proudly.
Yes.
He says it
It's a
proudly.
distinction.
Yeah.
Because he
Mhm.
worked so hard from 5 o'clock in the
Mhm.
morning.
I think that's
Wow.
why he should have staff. Is that the reason you have
Oh,
staff
wow.
to make sure that they connect and do things?
But you know what? Coming back to that trip that he took, I am waiting to see how soon the MOU that they signed with the US Exim Bank
Mhm.
will be activated.
Well, we're on it. We monitor it.
We're looking to see.
You know,
We're gonna put it
Yeah.
countdown by days, 100
Yeah.
days since.
and you know another person who seemingly not to like work of recent is the other boy, the other one. He's every day government being sued. He tired.
But this is the
He
same
said every
man.
day.
No, but hold on.
When the government has been quoted every day.
Hold on. Hold on. No, but this is the same man that said
Oh.
they need a vibrant, effective
Opposition.
opposition.
Yes.
And that
Yeah,
can't
you like
bring
teach them.
anything.
Every
No,
day
he
government
did
being
it
sued.
too.
Crying out.
And
Every day.
he has won.
Yeah, none. I was coming there happy. Even not yet. It's not that we being sued and like, you say frivolous case. We went in all them in the court, Frivolous cases. We went in all them in the court. Every day, man labored yesterday, national. Every day, government being sued.
But that is such.
Yeah.
That is such a
And this is the fellow who had been coached every day in opposition, every frivolous thing himself.
No, and then
Right through election.
And then he did not win a lot of his cases.
Oh,
but
Father.
if that is not an indictment on this government,
Yeah. Every day.
that people have to resort to the courts because
Yeah.
you're just incapable of impartial governance.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy you said that because if Trevor Bending carried him to court at the credit union and Debbie Prasad, we wouldn't know, that she acted ultra-virus and unlawfully. Didn't allow him his natural justice right to be heard. We didn't know that no investigation was carried out before she came to the conclusions. But thankfully, we got a chief justice that you can carry up. Well, the court system, not necessarily the chief justice. A court system, you can revert to get some redress for your grievances. Thankfully, you got a court system that you got to carry on to make sure that the two people who squatting in the National Assembly, the two parliamentary secretaries, no longer squat there. Even though they still getting paid.
We might gotta go back to court with a
Still getting paid. Right? And if we didn't go to the courts, we didn't know
Onage was
the line, but this is dual citizenship. Put your hand on the Bible. You see them white snakes? Where's call them? They're colorful and so on, they're small and so on. But them is the most deadly ones. Right? She's one of that. Right? Put your hand on the Bible and light this whole country. She's in the National Assembly, and some of us suspended. I saw the man with the dildo comment, cheering on Ejil yesterday. He's in the National Assembly, A lot of people suspended.
But they had a moment.
Suspended for the same thing.
They had a
Timothy
moment.
Tucker crying out for.
I had a moment. Ejil said to Darmlad, how many local authorities? We heard it's 71, right? And Darmlad was trying to count it in his head.
Yeah.
They said, oh no, it's 70, it's 70.
Yeah. You text somebody quick.
It's not much bad.
2 years in.
But it's
2 years
71.
in, they're crying out. And,
It's 71. So it was corrected incorrectly.
we spoke about this here, You get some nice words on International Day of the World's Indigenous People. And then from tomorrow, they gone back to sidelining them, to marginalizing them, to everything in them, right? But today you can see nice platitude. Oh, we care about indigenous people. Look what we're doing. We're giving them $3 billion in this budget. We care. That's how we care.
Well,
right?
I just have one thing and one thing alone.
I got plenty.
No, I just have one thing I want to say about this matter, and you can't move forward with a conversation and then send directly to people. Like, you can't move forward with a conversation when it comes to indigenous people when you, as an administration, your body has refused to even acknowledge them by the name indigenous people.
So for me, it's a non-starter.
That's
for me, it's like a just complete non-starter.
You know?
You can't even accord them the courtesy of the name that they have said expressly we prefer to be addressed by.
But the name that the international bodies address them by, and this is why it's important, right? The people who went back into office, this is something, because I personally submitted that motion to the National Assembly myself, asking that the name be retained for the ministry, and it not be renamed the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs, and be renamed and retain the name that it had under the APNU AFC administration, the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, because that was in line with the international standard.
Absolutely.
That's what we're seeing right about now. The international day, it's not the international day of Amerindian people, it's indigenous people for a reason, and that's what we say. So for many people, we shouldn't even be making a statement, because as far as they're concerned, we don't have indigenous people.
We have
Amerindian people, right? So for me, it's like Amanda said, it's not desire.
So as we in that, you know, the supplementary budget was passed yesterday, and it's quite interesting where some of the spending is going for this supplementary budget. And, you know, if I can give you a quick run through of some of that, where this money is going. This was financial paper 1 of 2022, which means you could get others, get financial paper 2, 3, 4, 5. Them by spending like mad, right? You and I am feeling it, but they're spending, right? They're spending. 21 billion went to housing. 5 billion went to the Ministry of Agriculture, of which 5.4 billion, of which 3.4 going to Gaisuko in the big black hole. 4 billion went to Ministry of Public Works. This is to fix your streets and so on. That can cause disruption in social cohesion, if you know which streets fixing, according to Edgel. 6 billion went to Ministry of Finance alone, right? Of which 4 billion is to GPL of that. And then I thought Juity would like this. 2.5 billion going to fund the census activities for the Bureau of Statistics. I thought, because you love the numbers, I thought that would cause your spine to tingle. You can do some somersaults too. I got one more, and then you can come back. And then 3.1 billion went to the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs, because you know that they got to buy the votes there, because election is looming. Right? So, Juita, take it away from there now.
Sharon called me out when it comes to this. But what I don't think my spine tickling is that alone, because when I saw when I saw this allocation, this allocation there, you know, this 2 billion when it comes to the census activity for the Bureau of Statistics. Guys, at the level of the National Assembly, back in February, when the actual budget was read, and I was asking the Minister of Finance, minister within the Ministry of the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, I should say.
Breathe now, breathe.
Let me call him by his right name.
Breathe.
Now, when I was questioning him, I went to the allocation that they had for, particularly as it pertains to the census activity. And I said, is this enough? And he replied to me, and he said that these activities is not like it's all is being done this year. As you would know, it would have been started years ago and so forth. I knew that it was not enough.
You and Bright Nicky. You and Bright Nicky.
I knew that it was not enough, but it just goes, for me, it goes to show the lack of proper planning when it comes to these things altogether. Because I did see recently, and this is what persons need to understand also, we're in August. I think it was only last month that I saw persons being trained to be sent into the various regions to actually go and do this. So we are in August. We are in August. It's not acceptable.
So while that is happening, I think that Wanajil, the good bishop, this morning, so going to be a little more kosher, or less kosher, I don't know. It depends. The good bishop, nonetheless, I think he took the cake yesterday. A large part of the budget goes to in infrastructure, public works. Sorry, but I'm sorry, but his responses to several things was quite telling. One of them is the media. He vexed the media. Say y'all watching in the ring, all them streets he pointing up, but y'all looking at streets that fixing. That's what he thinks that surprises. Y'all looking at FYI and so on, but infrastructure work that's not being done. But the streets that do it, the hundreds, he said if not thousands of streets that do it. Y'all don't focus on those things, right? And but don't take our word for it. Here is your boy.
And I must say, the Ministry of Public Works takes note of sometimes the unfair reporting by the media. And I'm not picking a fight for the media. The media is so Georgetownized and centralized, urbanized, that their reporting often only reflects what is happening in Georgetown. So they get a story about a hole in the street somewhere in the quarantine or somewhere in the Essequibo, but they never report the tens and dozens of roads in a particular community that is being fixed. For example, in the quarantine area, region 6 right now, we are literally taking people out of the mud by giving them footpaths to bring them out to the main road so that they will be able to get to their schools, their work, and the rest of it. I invite the media to go visit those areas and see what is taking place.
Yeah.
So what you saw there is Ezra standing in the National Assembly and asking Kwame to actually
do some work.
and
go report on the road that we fixed.
Go report on the road. They're doing the work.
Stop with this but report it.
Right? Right. But they're the guys who they get a lot of work. They got a lot of money, but they're doing the work. A lot of money. That's me saying really and truly in effect. And you also made an important point as that was playing. 25 years, they have people in mud. Yeah. 25 years, budget after budget is now. They're written all this time. But take them people out of the mud. 25 years, people in mud. That was one of the interesting things. The other two is the quality of the roads. Now, we highlight things that people send us. We don't go looking, for bad news. People send us and say, this is what happening in we street, this is what happening outside we gap. Focus on that. And we see a lot of potholes. There's one emblematic of this country in Thomas Lands where they just fixed. Less than 2 months ago, they just fixed that. I heard they spent $30 million to fix that. Yeah. And here is Wanajil saying, we got one quality of roads we do, despite the contractor. Well, we like it. And we sit in that plane, whether the contractor vex, the ministry staff vex, whoever vex, we don't like the quality.
I comment on this.
Right? We don't like the quality of work. Take a look at that. We like it.
I did hear a comment being made by a colleague from this honorable house, albeit under suspension at this time, about the quality of roads being done in one area and the quality being done in all areas. Let me make this very, very clear.
So let's take it back from the top so we hear clearly what he's saying.
I did hear a comment being made by a colleague from this honorable house, albeit under suspension at this time, about the quality of roads being done in one area and the quality being done in all areas. Let me make this very, very clear. All roads that are being done by the Ministry of Public Works are done to the same quality in every community, every time, every place. The only difference is that it's being done by different contractors. But if we're putting an inch and a half of asphalt or 2 inches of asphalt, it's across the board. The design department from the Ministry of Public Works don't deal with politics. These are professional engineers. These are professional engineers whose task is to deliver engineering solutions to benefit the development of Guyana. And I think that criticism that is being made is not only a political attack on the PPPC administration, but it is also an attack on the professionalism of the engineers at the Ministry of Public Works, many of whom worked under the APNU AFC administration. It's the same group of engineers. It's the same technical team at the WSG. And for a lawmaker, a legislator to be saying they're different quality of roads for different communities is to attack the professional integrity of these engineers. Mr. Chairman.
I didn't recognize that person there for a moment.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you why.
It's transfigured.
It just happened. It just so happens, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, it just so happens that I sit at the Public Accounts Committee, and that individual, Mr. Edgel, also sits at the Public Accounts Committee representing the government side. So I really didn't recognize him there for a minute, because this same individual, for need of a better word, literally cuts down engineers at the level of the PAC.
But sanctimonious,
right? This man went as far as saying the evidence is there to say that there was collusion between the engineer and the contractors. This man, those are his exact words.
The character professional engineers.
Not as man speaks about, And he said many of which work on. So I don't understand. How is it that he cuts these people down? Well, not in the literal sense, but how is it that he can go at them with such attacks? This and now come and say that, why are you attacking them?
Because it's the truth. They know it's the truth.
So did he forget? I don't know how
certain roads are done in certain areas.
Oh, it looks so.
Well, guys.
Wow.
$4 billion to GPL is how much?
Wow.
3 or 4 billion.
Oh my goodness. Let me see. Do we have it here?
Yeah.
$4 billion has been allocated.
But we're continuing.
This is where we are, unfortunately.
As you can clearly see,
unfortunately,
we are not receiving the benefits.
Yeah, clearly.
The DBIS.
Clearly not. Let's try to rectify it as quickly as we can.
The DBIS, the Demerara-Burbis Interconnected System.
It's just crap.
I'm trying to say, wait, this blackout here.
It's blackout.
No, it's special effects.
This is the reality.
This is
the oil producing republic of Guyana. This is the reality. It is such a good thing.
I feel attacked.
It's a good thing we're wrapping up.
I think I should just call them and say, y'all turn off the light. Let them go and turn on the generator or something. Let's see what they have. What they have going on.
How is it that we're talking about these boys just like no light?
Wow. Nikki is saying it's a complete shutdown. Total shutdown. As Shirley Crichton said, cascading outages. So this is Naomi said, I look up and see darkness. I start cleaning my glasses.
Guys, let me know. Let me just check in very quickly. Guys, let me know where you're joining us from.
And whether the power is out on your end.
Whether or not it's
we gotta wrap because this is gonna.
All right,
we're in the process of wrapping up anyhow. So
let's know if you have power on your end.
They're affecting me too much.
Yeah. This is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. And how much billions passed yesterday?
4 billion. 4 billion.
Which GPL getting?
4. Sonia says, y'all still look good in the dark. Thank you, Sonia. Charlene said it's an accumulation of darkness.
It's not really real darkness, it's accumulation.
Diamond has blackout.
All right, good.
South has blackout.
Blackout in West Rumpel.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. Grove
has blackout. Kiki has blackout.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Come on. I just know where I'm blackout.
Wow.
This is what is going on, It's just so after 4 billion.
Magnell says we're safe in Brooklyn. Okay, man.
We're happy for Magnell.
Festival City got blackout.
city, no power. Come
Right.
on, jeez.
This is what we're talking about.
and 4 billion going to Gaisuko.
4 billion.
So going to GPL.
GPL.
4 billion going to GPL. 4 billion going to GPL.
Blackout in South.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
It is what it is.
Amazing.
It is
It's a
what it is.
cascade, it's accumulation of darkness,
I mean-
cascade and shutdown. You
Right.
name it, it's happening.
But this is what could cause great social imbalance, as Edwin said, because some people got the big generators, is the rest of us.
Yep.
And that's what the fellow said yesterday when we was asked by a member of parliament, member in his own party, so to name the streets which will be done. This big 21 billion going to public works, you're going to be doing streets. He said miscellaneous streets. She wanted him to name the streets. He said, woman, hold on. I prepare for this question. Hold on.
Hold your horses.
Hold on. Here's Edgil for y'all. Here's Edgil. He said, hold on. Edgil, being Edgil.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to ask the honorable
Come on, GPL, help us out. Edgil, being Edgil.
Information on some of the roads that were identified.
All right, let's take it back so we get a clear sense of what the member of parliament is asking.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to ask the honorable minister to share with this house information on some of the roads that were identified for upgrading on this line item, because in our work in the communities, a lot of people would like to know if their roads are identified as for upgrading.
In this $3 billion, Honorable Minister, you want to lay over that list?
Mr. Chairman, for the avoidance of confusion and to not interrupt social cohesion in the country, it would be advisable that we don't, at this time, name 4th Street versus 2nd Street and 3rd Street versus 4th Street and Back Street versus 8th Street. But what we are doing is when we go into a community with a location that is available to that community, as much as can be done before we leave that community, we get done. For example, some streets just need sectional repairs. And rather than doing the whole 500 meters, you do the sectional repair of 300 meters and you have monies to be able to do 200 meters in another street in the same area. So we are getting those things done.
Yeah.
Edgil actually stood in the National Assembly and string those words together.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
It is. I'm seldom speechless. But I gotta say something.
If you name streets that the ministry is fixing, it will cause disharmony.
Sherrod, but if that is not an admission of just how completely broken a system is, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
How do you prepare budgets for an area? You got to know that for a street needs sectional, so we're gonna allocate this. 2nd Street, the entire street needs to be done. It sounds as if Edgil,
when you go in the street, you're
saying,
decide.
You have 500, you have 200, make it do. That is not how you budget as a government.
That's why they come back with supplemental.
You go in, you have your engine. This is why you have NDCs. This is why local government is important, because the local government people can feed that information into the central government.
But they're doing everything. They're not giving money to local government to do streets.
Second,
how you can do street with a 5 million?
It is inconceivable to me, and that is a confession that they don't do budgeting, they don't do planning.
But amongst the last of the streets that he is saying that they're going to be doing, if they ever get done, is miscellaneous streets. It's not major roads. It's
They're
back
not
streets
public roads
that are in the NDCs and
that
so
are
on.
in the NDCs.
Right?
They're not
They take over
public
everything.
roads.
They take over the work from the NDC.
And
They want to give the NDCs the monies and so on.
That is the control freakism that Kemraj always speaks about. You see, if you entrusted the NDCs to do the road and you had their engineers supervise, you would have a far better return because the people will naturally be able to manage better because it is for them. The other confession that Ejil just made is that he knows that if we call the streets, it will interrupt social cohesion.
That says a lot. That says a lot.
So he is saying that we know that if we name the streets,
so you know a lot of streets in Apno AFC,
racial tension and political tension is going to happen. Can you? That is. That, and he says it with a smirk as if he's the smartest and the brightest. We have a problem. We have a problem, and that is an admission that the government is really not interested in one Guyana.
Very much so. And folks, we are not a problem. If we don't go, you can just see black just now.
Well, let me just give my bit of comments on that particular video there, because he was speaking about miscellaneous roads. Is the first thing, like Amanda said, but the figure that goes with that is $3 billion. $3 billion was allocated yesterday when it comes to miscellaneous roads, and that's what the question was aimed at. And I have to say that if there's anything that you have to take away from that, is that there is no system, there is no structure, there was no budgeting process. They just wake up in the morning and decide that they want $3 billion towards miscellaneous roads. And because of that, in his own words, and you can go back and check it for yourself, he said they will do as much as can be done will be done. That's what he said, as much as can be done. That is not
it's contradictory.
That is incompetence. So it's not just it's incompetence. It's lawlessness, it's corruption, you name it, that's what it is. You don't go to the National Assembly and ask for $3 billion for you to do what you could do.
I said it's contradictory because a little earlier we'll make sure we have that clip for you guys. He said they could do it in all the streets, all the roads. Let it be known, we're doing all the roads in this country.
But then you're disrupting social cohesion. Look, this presents an opportunity for us as members of the public now to begin to hold this government accountable. Every person on this live that is resident here in Guyana has a smartphone. And if you are in your community, because these are miscellaneous roads, if you are in your community and a road needs doing, you highlight it on social media, put them on the spot. We also have an exercise happening in the regions, where the regions that were won by the coalition, they're going around and they're doing budget presentation. Show up to those consultations. This is about representing you, because what we want to do is put together all of the projects in your community that need doing, to say to the government, this is what needs to be done.
Amanda, it's interesting that we lost almost half of our audience with the blackouts.
I was just looking at it. Immediately.
With the blackouts. A lot of people on desktops and so on.
No, we knew
and with it there.
I was thinking that that's the amount of person that was on Wi-Fi.
We lost a lot of folks there. You can't do business in a country that's get blackout.
This is Guyana. This is Guyana.
And we just
There's
passed
no Caribbean.
$44 billion.
There is no Caribbean. But then it has to be something, because David Patterson didn't have all of this money,
but
and blackout was a thing of the past.
It tells us this, much like Gaisuko, that if you don't change the management, you could throw how much money you want. You could throw the whole 21 billion you're given to infrastructure, public works. In GPL will make a difference. You still get blackout. It's not the money.
And this is what
miscellaneous. I don't doubt. You know. It's the same thing that goes. It's the same thing that goes for Gaisuko. You could throw all the billions in Gaisuko. It will make a difference if we don't change the management. You know, in America. For small countries.
In other, let me just keep it local. In other CARICOM countries, say it's Narayan would have gone.
Folks, when the PPP came in 2020, before the first budget, they gave Gaisuko 600 million. In September of 2020, they gave them 5 billion. December, they gave them 4 billion. February of 2021, they gave them 2 billion. June of 2021, they gave them 1.5 billion. December of 2021, they gave them 5.1 billion. February just gone here, they give them 6 billion. Yesterday, they got 3.4 billion. I heard a reporter struggling to decipher how much money. She said 21 billion, but I don't know if my math is up, but we counted 27.5 billion
They probably
dollars.
missed the
And Gaisuko in a sugar shortage right now. After 27.5 billion. Mind you, that is what I want to do the analogy, because Public Works just got $21 billion to do a lot of stuff, infrastructure, and would have to add agriculture to that, because agriculture just got, of which Gaisuko's in here too, got 5.4 billion. Right? Maybe I should leave it agriculture and add in some other ministry. Finance, for instance, might bring us to $27 billion. 21 from 21 from housing, 21 from housing, sorry, not infrastructure. 21 from housing and 6 from finance will give us 27. All that went to Gaisuko, and Gaisuko and producing a pound of sugar at profitability.
And nothing in there for public servants.
Nothing in there for public servants.
Nothing in there for to better and to immediately impact the lives of Guyanese. And you see this thing about the cash grants that they're going around giving for schools. I am not sure where it is that said that we are against the cash grant. It is. I mean, we have been encouraging people to go out there.
The taxpayers' money is your money.
Get the grants. And in fact, with all of this money that they are spending, they could do more than 30,000. Let's be honest. They can do more now than 30,000. And then it does not address those people who got expenditure because their children are not yet in school. And those who are missed and skipped because their children are now leaving school. So you have tens of thousands of households affected. Where is their relief? What does that look like? But you see,
missing a textbook, and so you can't get them.
But these are the important issues that they like to gloss over. So if my child has left school, just wrote CXC, they don't qualify for a because we care. And if I have a child that is not yet enrolled in nursery school because they're not yet 5,
they don't qualify.
So that you're talking about tens of thousands of people who are without a remedy. But Manik Chan in our billions is going around like if this is an initiative that will help every Guyanese child. And that is just not true.
I specifically spoke about that when she came back, screaming with all her ignorance, you know. And then I specifically spoke about those things. The person's children leaving school was not in that, and the fact that they should actually let every child get it, as the National Assembly so mandated back in February, but it didn't happen like that. It didn't. And that's why they give it when they give it now in August, because they waited until those children were no longer in school to give it. It's wicked.
But you know, while we're there and as we close, my final thought is it's quite telling. The day after $44 billion is passed, 4.6, I think, the National Assembly, 0.7, National Assembly, national blackout. The day after that, based on the places we're seeing, you guys commenting on there, national blackout. Wow.
But the point that we make as we leave is that the people of Guyana do not have to take it. We don't have to take this.
Better.
The Sri Lankans have shown us we don't have to. The Surinamese are showing us that we don't have to. And, you know, people want to say, I'll inciting all kind of things. We're simply saying that you do not have to take it.
But they did say, you know, there people did say the Sri Lankans who were fighting they were protesting for their rights.
No, but when certain people do it here, they're hooligans. And that is the hypocrisy that we have to shed as a nation if we are going to move Guyana forward. The saddest thing is that we are going to find ourselves in another 10 years, if we continue down this path, as second-class citizens in our own nation. When the two major ethnic races look up from the fighting that is actually happening, we will look up to see that foreign nationals own the lion's share of our lands, they own the lion's share of our industries, and they own the lion's share of just the general patrimony of Guyanese.
And we say we tenants,
because we have a government that has no bones about selling out Guyanese interests. So we could keep we could keep this back and forth up, and in another 10 years we will look up and realize that we are second class.
The next census, you know, we're gonna do this census is gonna be a defining census this year, because I'm telling you, It's going to be very defining.
No, I think the numbers.
It will.
I think
But then-
if
but
we see
then-
it, if we actually see it.
We will see. We will see. Don't worry. I mean, it make you may not
Later
see it
on,
until
later
next
on
year.
in the week.
Yeah.
Later on in the
Folks,
week.
let's go. We gotta
Yeah.
go. We gotta go.
We gotta go,
Is
gotta
it
go,
black
guys.
screen? Start looking at you all.
Next thing.
Before we are forced off.
Yes.
But it
That's
just
good.
shows that there's just so much.
Yeah. we
There's
gotta
just so
go.
much going
Promise
on.
you packed program, United Deliverance.
Oh,
Have a good
day.
day,
I like
folks.
that. Thanks, Lindsay.
Even Ramesar
Thanks for
and
stopping, Sarita.
Sadie, Peter
Yeah.
Sills, guys. Have a wonderful day.
That's it for us. Stay safe. See you back at 12 if we get lights. See you guys back at 12. Stay safe. That's it.